Hey guys, it's Drummond. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I'm posting a new video. So keeping up with the Pride themed videos, I am going to do a video talking about being a gay dad. So I am not a gay dad, but I am pretty much a gay dad in the sense that my sister lives with me with my nephew, and I've pretty much taken on the role of dad. For the longest time, Hayden was calling me dad, and finally we got him to call me Uncle Mel, which I'm not sure where he got Mel from, but that's what he calls me. So for me, I've taken on the role of dad in a lot of different ways, meaning I'm the person who goes to work and I come back and I bring the food and I do all that type of stuff. In a lot of aspects, I took on the father figure in his life just because his dad is only really in his life on weekends, and it's every other weekend for him. So he doesn't really see his dad that often, and he sees me a lot. So in a lot of sense, I've taken on that role. And I will honestly say that when it comes to growing up and kind of getting to the point where you're having a kid in your life, you definitely start to think a little bit differently. Like, you're not wanting to go out to the clubs all the time. You kind of plan your days around having a kid, and you also kind of start doing things that you realize would be more fun for the kids. So like on my weekends off, I will say, hey, let's go to the Natural Bridge Zoo, or hey, let's go to the beach and take Hayden, or hey, let's go to the pool and take Hayden. So your life really starts to change when you have kids. And when it comes to being a gay dad, I feel like I'm starting to kind of get the sense of what it's like to be a gay dad without actually having a kid of my own, which I feel like a lot of gay people end up doing anyway, because a lot of us end up supporting our siblings or other people in our lives, like our friends that do have kids, because a lot of us, we don't really get to the point of adopting kids until a little bit later in life. I've got a couple friends and I know a couple of YouTubers that have had kids and they're in gay relationships, and I've seen marriages fall apart, and it's just like any straight relationship where it doesn't always work out between the parents and you kind of have the split and all of that fun stuff. But I kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that I've noticed being a dad slash uncle to my nephew. One thing that I've noticed about going out in public with Hayden is that people just automatically assume that he's my kid. And when they see me and my sister together, they're just like, oh, look at this cute little happy family. And granted, we are a family. We're just not a family in the sense that they think that we are. I'm an uncle, she's my sister, he's my nephew, and we make it work and we have a good time. I feel like when it comes to kids, the most important thing is that they're in a home where they're loved, and Hayden most definitely has all the love coming from every direction. And it's a great situation for him to be in, just because he's got grandparents that love him on both sides, he's got aunts and uncles that love him on both sides, and he's just going to be an extremely lucky kid. And you've seen him in a couple of my YouTube videos. He has definitely grown up since the first YouTube video that he's been in. But one thing that I've struggled with is being gay and being around him, and just the fact that I don't want other people, and living in a closed-minded area, this is something that I worry about a lot, but I don't want people to think that anything that I do is me trying to make him grow up to be gay. And honestly, I'm the type of person that I believe that you're born gay. It's not something that someone can force upon you and turn you gay, but there are definitely people out there that believe that you can raise your kid gay, and I am always worried that people are thinking that about me. I've heard stupid people say things like that, and it's just always in the back of my head. So like when we're out in public and Hayden decides he wants to give me a kiss, and I'm just like, oh, don't do that. And it just makes me uncomfortable, because I don't want people to look at me and think that him kissing me is any type of thing other than a child kissing someone that they care about. Honestly, it sucks that that's something that I have to worry about. And another thing that I've done is when it comes to introducing him to toys and books, I got him a unicorn book just because I thought it was a really interesting story, and someone on the other side of his family made a comment about how that was a girl's book. And I also, for Christmas last year, got him a Moana and a Maui doll, just because that was one of his favorite movies, as well as some troll toys, just because that was another one of his favorite movies. And it's crazy that so many people have so many preconceived thoughts about what will turn someone gay, or what is appropriate for a child that is a male or a female. And I feel like that's an added stress to any gay couple, just because when it comes to anything that we do, we are constantly judged by closed-minded people. And when it comes to raising children, everyone judges anyway. So I feel like people are going to constantly be judging you as a gay couple. So I've talked to a couple of my friends and a couple other YouTubers that have kids, and I've asked them if this is something that they worry about, and they're like, all the time. And I feel like this is just like when you're in a gay relationship without kids. You go out into public and you feel like people are judging you. And to be honest, I feel like at the end of the day, if a child is in a loving arms, it doesn't matter if it's a gay relationship that's loving them or a straight relationship or transgender or whatever. I just don't think that we should be so worried about what other people are thinking, and I don't think anyone should be worried about a child being in a situation where they're surrounded by love. Because I feel like when it comes to gay relationships and adopting, I feel like right now it's a little bit harder to get that. And any gay couple that's looking to adopt, they have to jump through so many different hoops to just get a kid. And I feel like if they're in a position where they're going to be able to provide for a kid, I feel like there shouldn't be anything that stops them. Just like there shouldn't be anything stopping interracial people or single people who want to adopt children. I feel like there are so many children out there that are just in need of a healthy, happy home. And I feel like that's something that we shouldn't deprive them of just because there's people out there who don't think that gay people should be able to raise children. So my sister and I have pretty much been living together since before she had Hayden. She was actually pregnant, I believe, when we moved in together, and I was actually here the night that we had to rush her to the hospital for Hayden to be born, and it was an all-day process. It was very long and drawn out. I was exhausted by the end of it. I actually left the hospital about an hour before he was born just because we had gotten there at 5 a.m. that morning, and I ended up leaving probably around 1 a.m. that next day and didn't have any sleep, and I had work the next day because I had already called out for that day. But I've pretty much been around for Hayden's entire life. So I've been able to see him from being like the little infant where you just don't want his head to fall, and it's just really hard to take care of him, to where he just didn't have any facial expressions. He just kind of looked at you, to where he started to laugh at the things that I did, and to where now he's at the point where he's saying different things and he knows how to say things to get what he wants. And it's just crazy to watch him grow up so much, and it's crazy how much of like a protective like father figure person I've become, just because I don't want anything to happen to him. And there's just so many horrible things out there that I hear, like kids drowning in pools, kids falling down steps, kids doing this and this and this, and it's just really scary to think that his life is in our hands. Everything that he will become is being sculpted right now of who we are and what we do around him. And it's crazy to kind of watch how closely he watches everything that you do. My sister most definitely points out so many different things that I do that she tells me is going to create bad habits for him. Like there's times where the dogs just annoy me and I'm just like, no, get away, and I like tap their head, and then he'll go up to them and like tap their head too, and I'm just like, oh no. I've also been the type of person that like I've put him on top of the car, like the little red car with the yellow roof. I sat him on top of it and was like pushing him around, and now he thinks that that's how you ride it. So there's most definitely times that I have been a bad influence on him. But that's one thing that as an adult you start to look at. You're like, oh my gosh, this kid is literally becoming a product of what I am making him. All I really hope for is that I'm able to teach him how to be a kind and loving person, and that he goes out into this world as a loving, accepting person and someone who's going to make positive, good changes in the world, just like I'm trying to do. Hopefully some of the things that I do around him inspires him to do amazing things later on in life, just because I know how important it is, and I hope that I am able to instill on him some of the things that I do in life to help other people. But that's all I have for this video. If you guys have kids, or if you're thinking about having kids in the future, please leave some comments in the comment section below. I love hearing from you guys. And if you haven't already, make sure you check me out on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, got them all. And hopefully you guys are having a good Pride Month, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.